So welcome everybody. We have Mary Fain Brandt with us today. She's a San Diego-based LinkedIn strategist and career consultant. So she works with business professionals and entrepreneurs who want to stand out as experts in their industry and get more clients using LinkedIn. So in addition to her LinkedIn training, she's on a mission to help women entrepreneurs find work that lights them up and is aligned with their unique skills and talents. So Mary, welcome to Speaking with uh, the Speakers Guild USA monthly webinar. And I'll turn it all over to you right now.
Well, thank you, Deborah. Thank you so much for having me. This is a community that's well served by your talents and skills. And being a speaker myself, I hope that what I share today helps all of you position yourselves so that you're branded as excellent speakers and you're filling your calendar with speaking gigs. So thank you for the introduction. My name is Mary Fain Brandt, and Deborah and I know each other. Our common affiliation is HeraHub. We both probably love HeraHub. I love HeraHub. I don't know about you, Deborah, but it's fabulous. It's one of the best business investments I've made. So today, folks, we're going to touch on three main things. One is going to be how to brand yourself on LinkedIn. Yes, you need a company page, and video, how, when, why, and what to use it for. So we're going to start. I want to know, Deborah's going to moderate the comments here, but let's take a poll. I'd like to know who's actually on LinkedIn. So just type an L in if you're actually on LinkedIn currently, and that means that you actually have a profile. And my second question to the audience is, how often are you on LinkedIn? So if you're on daily, type a D, weekly, type a W, monthly, type an M, and if you don't type anything, we're going to assume that you're just not on LinkedIn at all.
So they're on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And most of it's weekly.
Hey, you guys are ahead of the curve. That's great. So you're already used to being on LinkedIn. So now we probably need to rev it up, and you need to figure out how to make your profile stand out, who your strategic connections are, and maybe what to post and when to post it. So there's a big difference. A lot of people have a profile on LinkedIn, as you can see by this image, my PowerPoint here. So there's a difference between being on LinkedIn and people that are active on LinkedIn. And so I'm going to throw out to the audience right now, here is one pro tip. In order to get more profile rankings and get your profile ranked higher, get more profile views, a really easy tip is to post once a day, 5 days a week, so Monday through Friday, once a day for 1 month. If you take nothing else away from this, start doing that and you will instantly see a higher rate of connection requests, and your profile will start to rank higher. And the name of the game is to have your profile rank higher so you get more profile views. Profile views are going to lead to more speaking gigs, more clients, more connections. So everyone is on LinkedIn and they're posting, or they're on LinkedIn weekly. That is a great start. Congratulations for being that much farther ahead in the game. So I want to start with, I always like to start my presentations with what's so great about LinkedIn, and I want it to be fun. So my brand, I'm known to be fun and informative. So is it fun to find new clients? Is it fun to share relevant articles, or what's going on in your community, your industry, and growing your network? If anybody likes to do all of this, I just want you to type in the word fun, because what I'm going to teach you is fun. It does not have to be boring. When I started working on LinkedIn in a career coach manner, I was helping everyone position themselves to find their jobs. And then I realized that entrepreneurs were missing out on this platform called LinkedIn because everybody thought it was for job seekers. And once I dove into some specialized training, I realized that I really need to share what I was learning and the value that I was getting out of LinkedIn. But my style is a little different. I like it to be fun and informative. When I did start, I would reference LinkedIn as being the ugly stepchild of the social media platforms because it was kind of clunky, it wasn't user friendly, and it wasn't the place to be. That was in 2015. Fast forward to today, and LinkedIn has got a new user interface. They've got the video that we're going to go over. Groups are coming back. Company pages are being redesigned in a way so that LinkedIn is really stepping up their game. And I no longer refer to them as the ugly stepchild of the social media platforms. So here are some facts. I want you guys to get excited about what is out there on LinkedIn. So when I started doing this presentation in around late 2015, there were 380 million users. Currently, there are over 550 million users in 200 countries. And there's, I think, over 10 million searches on LinkedIn now, and at least 2 members joining every second of the day. But what I love is this last statement. The average income of a user is $115,000. So my joke is I only need, out of 550 million users, the average income $115,000. All I need is 0.0002% of that business and I'll be set for life. So there's enough business out there, there's enough the network is so large that we only need a small percentage of that. But then the game plan is how do you get that percentage? And that's really by setting yourself up to succeed on LinkedIn with having a great profile and a strong network. We're just going to go over some more fun facts and then I'll quit boring you with this stuff. I do love this fact. It's really important to me that LinkedIn sends more traffic over to your website than the other platforms, such as Twitter and Facebook. So as much as we want to connect on LinkedIn and we want people, commenting and liking our posts, I want to tell you that the end game is to get them off LinkedIn. So the end game is to get the traffic off LinkedIn and onto your website because that's where you'll sell them. So make a note of that. Your end game is to get them off LinkedIn and onto your website so they can buy your product, service, or book you for the stage. It also has the highest visitor lead generation for qualified leads. That's important, that word qualified. Marketers rating LinkedIn for generating leads, and 80% of companies acquire business-to-business leads through LinkedIn. This is more, I want to call this the overload slide because we are on overload. I don't know about you guys, but I'm inundated with social media platforms, and especially like on Facebook, all the groups that I'm in, and then they have a daily post. I really can't keep up with it. And this year I made a conscious decision to leave some of those groups. And in the other ones that still serve me, I just don't participate as much because it's just overwhelming. And so we need to keep that in mind that we are engaging on 7 different sources of information through multiple channels. So whether that be a podcast, a webinar, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, I don't know what else, Instagram, Google, whatever other platforms, it just gets really overwhelming. And depending on who your target market is, you need to be aware of where they're spending their time. So millennials are spending, I don't know how, but 18 hours a day consuming media. I'm guilty. I check my messages, my email, my LinkedIn, and my Facebook first thing in the morning, usually from bed. It's such a bad habit. So here's just some more facts that 1 million people have published over 3 million posts on LinkedIn. Hey, Deborah, let's ask our audience. If anyone has published an article, a long form post on LinkedIn, can you type the word P for published? I would love to know what percentage of our audience has already done some publishing on LinkedIn and if they know this secret tip that I'm going to go ahead and give you guys today. Are we getting any responses, Deborah? Okay, Well, while we wait for those responses to come in, let's talk about LinkedIn native video. We all know that video marketing is the hot trend, and it's not going away. So whether we like being on video or not, we need to learn to embrace it. Now, LinkedIn native video is not live video. It's not the same as Facebook Live where someone can interact with you. But what it is, it's great to showcase a weekly tip, a keynote speaker, maybe an event you're sponsoring. And I have real-time lookup at a house up for sale because I like working with realtors on how they can position themselves on LinkedIn. So that's just thrown in there. But for you as a speaker, if you are on stage speaking, I'm hoping that you have a relationship with someone that's there watching you, maybe a friend or a colleague. I would love for you to start implementing having them do LinkedIn native from their phone, just a snippet of you speaking on stage. That is going to increase your credibility and visibility as a speaker instantly, and you can reach so many people on LinkedIn. So I like to use it usually when I'm at networking groups, when I'm at conferences, or if I'm watching someone speak, I'll do a little snippet. Some pro tips on using LinkedIn native video. A 3-minute video is the sweet spot. You don't want to do a video of 10 minutes long on, on LinkedIn. That's just too long and people are going to check out. So I typically actually do about 2 to 3 minutes, usually not more than 3 minutes. That's all I really need. Um, so here's why you would want to use it. You know, it serves as another marketing touch to your audience, and of course it adds to your credibility and visibility. And I want to let you know why I have this term, it makes you look good. It really does make you look good because so little people are taking advantage of this feature on LinkedIn. So you can set yourself apart by starting to use LinkedIn native video. And I challenge each of you in this group today, if you've never done a LinkedIn native video, you can use me as your excuse. I did this in another group. I said, go out, do your first LinkedIn native video and tag me in it. And if you have nothing to talk about, you can say, hey, Mary Fain Brandt challenged me to do my first LinkedIn native video. So here it is. And you can just say, hey, my name's Mary Fain Brandt, say your name. I currently have the LinkedIn Bakery where I serve up bite-sized tips. This is my first LinkedIn native video. I'd love to know, what do you want to learn about my business or me? And tag me in that on LinkedIn. And then I can go in and comment and help you increase your reach. So I always like to tell this story about how the LinkedIn Bakery came about. So this is my mom, and this was at SeaWorld. Her name was Nancy, and my mom passed away from Alzheimer's in 2016. I got to spend a lot of time with her because I had my own business, and I'm very thankful for having the flexibility. My mom was my why. She's why I started my business because she became sick and I had to leave my full-time job so that I could spend this time and really be her advocate. So in 2016, she passed, and I literally shut down my business. I didn't have any clients coming on, and I wasn't looking for clients. Around July, I had a phone call about teaching a LinkedIn class that previously had fell through the cracks. And then I had a client who'd been to one of my labs ask for some strategy sessions. So I'd gotten a couple clients, and I was trying to determine if I was actually going to keep doing this LinkedIn training. I had a lot of serious conversations with God, asking him, am I supposed to be a speaker and trainer, or am I just supposed to go back and get a job? Having these couple clients call me and reach out to me, in my mind, it gave me the answer that I wasn't supposed to give up. And so I had purchased a marketing strategy session from Stephanie Novinskis in April, literally 2 weeks before my mom passed. Now, Stephanie knew the story of my mom and her disease and how close I was because we were friends on Facebook and I documented all of my time with my mom. We're also in another group, CWIN, and so she really knew like the inside story. Her assistant called me around August and said, Mary, you bought this session and Stephanie just wanted to know if you wanted to use it because you've already paid for it. And I thought, well, okay, what could it hurt? I've already paid for it. So in this 1 hour session, Stephanie very kindly and softly asked me about honoring my mom in the new company name if I were to move forward with the branding, because I decided my first brand of a year and a half old no longer suited me. And I really needed to have a brand that I aligned with and that I could be passionate about. So in this 1 hour session, Stephanie came up with two names, and one was the profile painter, right? I was going to paint wonderful LinkedIn profile, kind of like the dog whisperer, because my mother was an artist. And I thought about it and I said, okay, that sounds great. And about a week later, I was like, you know what? I don't paint. That's not a talent that I inherited. So I couldn't align myself with that. But Stephanie also came up with the LinkedIn bakery. And I am a baker, as my mom was this fabulous baker. So we went with a LinkedIn bakery serving up bite-sized tips. Now I added the bite-sized tips because everyone always tells me that LinkedIn is complicated and overwhelming. And I have to agree that it's a complex platform, but as is Facebook is. I can't do Facebook ads because it's too complex. So I like to break out my training into bite-sized tips so that you don't get overwhelmed. So each training session builds on the previous one. So that's the story of my mom, my why. So I want you guys to think about how you can build your brand on LinkedIn. My brand is fun and informative. It's colorful. If you were to look at all that I post on LinkedIn, it's job seekers, speaking, and LinkedIn. It's really important to post with consistency and purpose on LinkedIn. It's also important that you're consistent and thoughtful when you're thinking of your messaging and your headlines. What I've seen in the past that doesn't work is when someone does 2 to 3 different things. For example, there was a woman who said she's a social media manager and yoga instructor. So in my mind, that just confuses me. I don't know if I'm supposed to contact her for social media managing or if I'm supposed to sign up for her yoga classes. So when you're building your brand on LinkedIn, really think about the messaging that you're putting out there. And then I want you to think about the posts that you put out there. And I want it to be in your brand colors, your brand tone, and your brand voice. That is probably the biggest thing that I can tell you about branding yourself on LinkedIn. Being consistent, being purpose, and having your brand fluidity throughout everything. Does anyone have any questions up to this point? Anyone? Okay. I'll just keep moving on. But Deborah, if there's a point, since I can't see the comments, Deborah, if someone has a comment on the topic that I'm talking on, I would love to have some interaction and be able to answer those questions. So here's a question I'd like to ask our audience. I'd like to know who out there has a company page. And if you do, you can just type the letter C for company. A lot of solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, they don't really think that they need to have a company page because they're just, a party of one. That's what I am, a party of one with an intern here and there. But it's really important to create that company page, and it doesn't take a lot of time. Here on your screen, you can see some reasons. It expands your reach, definitely increases your credibility. Companies that don't have pages kind of wonder, are they real? How many employees they have. If you have volunteers, if you have interns, if you have any partners, any employees, you want them all to link over to your company page. Now, this next line, videos coming to company pages. And that is going to be great to market. If you have a product or service, I really feel that video is where you need to be. I know that when I do video on LinkedIn or Facebook, I have a higher comment rate, like the engagement is higher, and I have more views on anything. So let's all wrap our head around doing video, LinkedIn native video, and video on the company pages. I would love, I don't know if we can do this, Deborah, somehow like for people to drop the links in for their company page so we can all follow each other and help build up our company presence, because that's really important to do. And it's important, it'll probably take you 45 minutes to create a company page. Put your logo up there, maybe an hour if you need to design a background banner. You need to put in a little blurb about your company, fill out the location information. And then I always suggest not to have just the shell of the company page. You'll want to have maybe 3 to 4 articles or posts that you can put up immediately. So it looks like there's something there. And then I would say once a week, post an article there. And the reason you want to have both the company page and your profile is because sometimes people search by company. So if someone was looking for LinkedIn trainer, they might search by company. So if you look at mine, I actually have 2 company pages. You can have multiple company pages, but LinkedIn only allows you to have one profile page. They actually have a rule or what's it called in their terms and conditions that if you have more than one personal profile, they can shut down both pages without notifying you. They can just shut them down and you'll be out of business. People wonder what happened to you. But company pages, you can have multiple pages. So as a speaker, we need to really increase our visibility and credibility. One of the best ways that we can do that as a speaker, whatever topic that you're passionate about, whatever topic that you're going to go speak on stages, you need to write about it. You're probably going to write it before you say it anyways. You probably have a blog that you could take and put onto LinkedIn Publishing. So this is the long form articles. This is not the post on the home page. So on my page, I just did a series on social media marketing world with 3 of my colleagues. We we called it 4 takeaways, 4 weeks, 4 friends, or something like that. And because social media marketing, there's probably 50 tracks to listen to, and it's overwhelming. So I like to break things down and not make it so overwhelming. So I asked my colleagues, like, hey, let's all take 4 recordings, or every week, let's pick a recording, write it, and then let's bring our articles together and expand our reach. So one way that you could do this is partner up with someone who has a different audience than you, but it would complement you, and co-create an article and co-publish that, and then tag each other as you're doing that. When you tag each other on LinkedIn, it's going to really increase your reach and your visibility, and that's what you want to do. So Deborah, do we have any responses to the questions I've been asking? Has anyone published? Does anyone have a company page? Does anyone have any questions about company pages? Okay. When you're posting on LinkedIn and you're trying to find speaking gigs or really trying to align yourself, I think one thing as speakers is we need to know what is our brand as a speaker. Everybody has your essence of being a speaker. What type of audience would be a best fit for you? You actually should list that in your summary. So I'm very fun, informative. I speak on LinkedIn, entrepreneur, and branding. Those are the 3 topics. So my media sheet has those on there, and I have 3 signature speeches that I can deliver. So it's really important to have a couple signature talks under your belt, have those ready to go. So if someone does ask you to speak, you can show up professional and prepared. So we're going to talk about some basics on LinkedIn. Now, at the end of the day, it's all about the profile views. So if you don't remember anything else, I want you to remember this tip. At the end of the day, it's really about how many people are viewing your profile. The more profile views you get, the higher your ranking of your profile. And then most likely the more connection requests that you're going to get. And we want to build out a very global um, network. And I like to help people think outside the box. I don't know the makeup of this group that I'm speaking to right now, but when I work with women, one of the things is we tend to have walls about who we're connecting with. So I like to say a pro tip is it's never usually about the person you're directly connecting with. Most of the time, it's about who's in their back pocket, who's in their network that might see your posts and might need your services or products and might want to hire you as a speaker. So there's three main ingredients for your profile. And I actually want to update this to say four because I've discovered there's four ingredients for your profile. Obviously, a professional photo. I'm hoping if we're all speakers here that you all have had a professional photo done. But even more important than that, I want to make sure that it's a relevant photo. I want to tell you about a story. I met this woman on LinkedIn. We connected. We had some in-mails going back and forth. And then I went to meet her at a coffee shop and I walked right past her. I don't know how old her photo was, but she didn't look like her photo. I didn't recognize her. And as a woman, we always want to look our best, but we need to have a relevant photo. So you should probably have a new headshot taken every 2 to 3 years, they say, and I want to agree with that. Now, if you dye your hair red and your profile photo has you with blonde hair, I'm going to say if you're going to keep that red hair, you probably need to go out and get a new photo done, and vice versa. So make sure that you not only have a professional photo, but it really needs to be a relevant photo. The second ingredient is to have a hot headline. Now, this is a recipe that I've concocted myself, the W plus H plus V over B. Sounds complicated, right? Well, let me let you know that math was not my thing, so this isn't as complicated as it sounds. So it's who do you serve? How do you serve them? What's the value or benefit they get from working with you? And that creates a hot headline. So career coach is pretty basic. But if you say career coach working with women to find meaningful and fulfilling careers using LinkedIn as the platform, that's very specific. So one of the things I want to tell you all is that in your headline, it shouldn't just be your title. So career coach, speaker, it needs to have more than that. It needs to know we need to know who you serve and how you serve them. So when we get back to your branding, let's talk about in marketing, you have 6 seconds to capture someone's attention. Only 6 seconds, you guys. That's not that long. So basically, it's these things right here. They're going to see your photo, they're going to see your headline, and they're going to see a little blurb of your summary. LinkedIn recently, I do want to ask this question to the audience, Deborah. LinkedIn just changed the format, the layout of the profile. I'd love to know if everybody has that because that's a game changer. Your headline can be a lot longer now. So I need to know if everyone has that. If you could just say yes. Anyone? Okay. So we can get into that more, but I actually love helping my clients work on their headlines and coming up with really significant headlines. The third ingredient is a summary that speaks to your ideal clients or audience. So we want to talk audience, who's looking for speakers. And that would be about looking at who your advocates are, who your JV, joint ventures, partnerships, and collaborations. Who hires speakers? Besides networking groups, really great partners for speakers would be conference managers, event planners, people like that, because they're looking for speakers. I would love to know if anyone is in a LinkedIn group that is just for speakers. If you guys can drop that in the comments, that would be fabulous to share with everybody else here. Now, I did say there's 4 ingredients. The 4th ingredient is your background banner. And I'm going to show you one in just one moment. When I get there, I'll tell you what's so important. So this is what not to do. We have 3 photos. These were lifted straight up off of LinkedIn. I call the guy up there on the top is Creepy Forehead Guy. The girl, she's actually a real estate agent, but she has her cat. And then in the middle, I believe that that's a politician. So this person's saying, like, look at me. I've seen photos with a plane in the picture. I've seen photos, just random, not even headshots. Now, I want to let you guys know that LinkedIn has a policy that you cannot have your logo as your headshot. Now, some people do use that. But again, if LinkedIn finds you, if they see that, if it's reported, they can shut down your profile right away. And you don't want that because you've worked hard on creating that profile and your network. So no logos, no animated. I don't like the people who do the animated headshot of them. I want to know what you look like. LinkedIn is about creating the relationship. So a professional headshot. I'm currently working with a chef, and so it's perfectly acceptable for her to be in that chef jacket with a chef hat. So industry appropriate, but still professional headshot. So this is the background banner, and this is a great way for you guys to stand out, is to really create a branded image. And this one that I have up is reputation building, 5 stars, or a CTA, which is call to action. Now, I have an online course that is launching that covers everything on LinkedIn from A to Z. It's your recipe for success on LinkedIn, of course, because everything is built around the bakery terms. And so my background banner is going to be changing, and it's going to be advertising basically my online course. You can also, if you have a speaker sheet or whatever topic that you speak on, maybe you have a top 5 list, you could say something like, message me for your top 5 list. I could put up there, grab my cheat sheet for LinkedIn, and then I could message them the sheet. So it's a way to build your list. I would actually take that off LinkedIn, have them go to my website to get it so I can capture their email. But basically, you want to stand out. Don't have that boring blue background that LinkedIn automatically generates. Create your own branded background. And you can do this for free in Canva. That's Canva. Or you can do it very inexpensively with Fiverr. I think that's Fiverr. My first background banners, I paid $20 for 4 different background banners for all my social media platforms. Now, if you remember, I said really need to be consistent. So if you go to my platforms on Facebook, Instagram, let's see, Twitter, you will see this same background banner on all the platforms. And you'll also see my little cupcake everywhere. The cupcake that's up here in the top right-hand corner, everyone is getting to know that that's the LinkedIn bakery. That's Mary Fain Brandt. So it's really important to be consistent. Okay, my computer's stuck, so hold on. There we go. So this is just, one part W. Again, the headline, how to turn that into the referral machine is to really have a hot headline. I'm going to show you a couple examples, but I have much better examples when we work one-on-one. I worked with someone who was an estate planner. Estate planning is really boring. It doesn't tell me anything about you, but putting the needs of your family first with estate planning, that tells me that you're going to put my family's needs first. some local food meal prep and delivery companies that I work with, providing healthy food options for busy professionals and active families. So that's a little more specific. And then the last headline that you see here is someone in the financial industry who is building her team. So we specifically did this headline to attract job seekers because she's hiring, expanding her team. So never punch a clock again. Write your own paycheck equals flexibility and freedom. Ask me how. Now, your headline, you can change that as much as you want. I actually have someone on LinkedIn, they change their background banner and their headline about every 3 months because they're doing testing. And I think that's really smart. You're going to see which headline drives more traffic. So come up with a couple and switch those out. So again, these are basic ingredients that you need to have for LinkedIn so you can stand out. So who do you serve? For me, I serve female entrepreneurs. I serve females over 35 looking to transition to find a meaningful and purposeful career that aligns with their skills and talents. I serve female entrepreneurs looking to increase their confidence, their credibility, their visibility using LinkedIn as their platform. That's who I serve. And then you want to say what that looks like and tell your story and have that call to action. Book me for your stage, book a session. I have a Calendly link so people can book a consultation. If you're an author, buy your book. Or, like I said, I have my online course launching, so I'll be having sign up for my course there. So, number two is building your strong and strategic network. So, that's about building it out. And I talked a little bit about that. Think about who strategically those partnerships would be. Deborah, if anyone had any comments on their strategic network, I'd love to hear some of those comments of who they've um, who they've accepted into their network or connected with that has been a strategic referral partner. I find that social media strategists, why they know social media, they haven't taken the time and invested in the LinkedIn. And I've worked with probably 5 social media strategists in the last 3 months, and their connections have gone from like 60 to 400 and like 200 to over 1,000, and they're all strategic. They're getting booked on podcasts, and they're actually getting business now from just learning the tips and trends that I teach because LinkedIn is a living, breathing platform and things are always changing. So, why I can teach you how to use it, you really have to stay in the know and make sure that you're updating your information, changing your settings accordingly, and just being in the know of what the new features are. So here's a little pro tip for you guys is that whenever you send out a connection request, you should always send a note why. You're going to get, this is probably more like a 73%. I think that when you send a note why you're requesting to connect with someone, I know that my acceptance rate goes up and the stats are about 53%, but I want to say it's more like 63 to 70%. When someone doesn't send a note to me, I have to go and look at their profile and I have to determine if I want this person into my network. So you should always vet everyone that is sending you a request. I also take into consideration that not everybody knows how to do the in-mail note. And sometimes people are so new on LinkedIn, they don't realize that it's really a strategy and it strengthens your connection request rate. So let's talk about, terms and what you need to do on LinkedIn. So Google and LinkedIn really does equal rankings. So if something is really popular on Google, it's probably going to be popular on LinkedIn as well. So Google has a really high standing and reputation, I guess, with LinkedIn. I didn't know this back in the day, but if you're like there's a few things that you can do on LinkedIn, some things in your settings, and that when you make these changes, you actually rank higher on Google. And now I don't know about all you guys, but I am like a Google holic. When my husband says, what did he ask me the other day? He asked me how old somebody was. I'm like, Google it. My answer to everything, if I don't know it, is Google it. Find it on Google. So you definitely want to find out what people are Googling. What kind of speakers are they Googling for? Are they looking for female speakers? Are they looking for coaches on speaking? Are they looking for LinkedIn trainers? I don't know your industry, so I don't know what to say, but you definitely want to Google that. And then you want to put that into your LinkedIn profile because it's going to help with the SEO. And I think this is just some more information on that. You know, if it's popular in Google, it's going to be popular over on LinkedIn. And you're going to increase your chances of your profile possibly ranking on the first page of Google. And that is a definite goal of mine, is to get my page on the first page of Google. You also want to use those keyword phrases in your LinkedIn profile. So that concludes my presentation here. If you want to get entered in a raffle for a chance to win my online course, you just need to, the next page will be a place where you can text in, or you can go to my website, www.maryfainbrandt.com, and you can go to training and courses, and you can get on the waiting list there. So my course is $997 for everything you need to know on LinkedIn. It's fun and informative. I have live video training. Well, I'm sorry, recorded videos, tutorials, PDFs, a bunch of templates, and we have weekly office hours where we're actually using Zoom and I'm reviewing your profiles and answering your questions. We're going to do things like optimizing your profile, but more than that, really come up with that strategic plan for you on LinkedIn, as well as you'll get to be featured on one of my Facebook shows. You'll get featured in the private Facebook group, the LinkedIn Bakery that I have. So I do a feature Friday. You'll be featured in there. What else do I have in there? Just all kinds of fun. There's been a lot of, in the course that launched in December, a lot of great networking and actual, what's the word I'm looking for? People hiring each other and doing work with each other. I just love how my community of connectors, they support each other, encourage each other, and they reach out to each other when they're looking for someone that has one of the talents that they need in the group and they'd rather hire them. So you can text LINKD to 22828 and you can stay in the know, get on the list. And then you can follow me on my Facebook business page. Every Tuesday, I drop a tip. Mondays is Monday Motivation, but I just like to provide a lot of information and value to my audience. So please follow me and engage with me over there. And Deborah, that's what I have for your group today.